So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Ken Ham's Ark Park, their Ark Encounter, is failing. Sad baby, right? Now, in its failure, it is actually costing the town of Williamston quite a bit of money in tax breaks and incentives. Now, in return, they were like, no, we're going to bring in millions of visitors. It's going to be great. Did it deliver? Absolutely not. In fact, according to Grant County Judge Executive Steve Wood, he says this has been a really bad deal for taxpayers. Okay, so I wanted to give you a little bit of context for that before I get into what they're actually doing. So, in the face of this failure, Williamston is like, well, we got to get some of our money back, right? So, we're going to institute what they call a safety fee. Now, what they're saying is that, look, if you have an attraction or rides or something like that, if you're like an amusement park, then we're going to charge you an extra 50 cents. We're going to tax 50 cents on every ticket you sell, so we can get some money back. Now, this would actually, according to the estimate of 1.4 million visitors a year to the Ark Park, this is what the Ark Park promised, this would amount to approximately $700,000 that the Ark Park would owe in taxes to the city annually. And it would go to funding, roads, or not roads, it would go to funding police and firefighters. That's why it's a safety tax, right? Except that they don't want to pay. Could they think that we're religious in nature, so we shouldn't have to pay this tax, because how dare you try to tax a church? But wait, the problem is that the Ark Park is a for-profit entity. So they're running into a little bit of a problem. But don't worry, those creationists have a great idea. They're going to sell their land. They're going to sell the land that the park sits on for super cheap to one of their nonprofits. How cheap? They sold it for $10 to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, yeah.
This is pure grifting, of course.
Yeah, I mean, this is corruption 101, and, what would Jesus do?
Yeah. Apparently, according to them, he would sell their park to a nonprofit to avoid paying taxes. So let me tell you, this land was this property was worth $48 million. The deed was $18.5 million. They sold it to Crosswater Canyon, their non-affiliate their nonprofit affiliate, for $10 in order to get out of paying their taxes. And essentially, what they just admitted by doing this is, yeah, we were in it for the money. Ha, you're suckers. We got all these tax breaks and incentives, and we promised economic activity and economic growth. We didn't deliver, but we still want our tax breaks. Suckers. Sad.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And this goes to, this is, I'll be fair here and say not every religious institution is this corrupt. But this is like your by the book corruption, and when you do stuff unethical like this, I firmly believe you should lose your tax exemption. I don't think religion should be tax exempt in general. We don't
Agreed.
have time to open that can of worms. But I think that if you do violate the laws, you need to lose your tax exemption at least for a certain period of time. I think the Mormons should have lost their tax exemption after what they did with Prop 8. They were funneling money into it. They were breaking rules. They should have lost their tax exemption. I think in this case, this is, an unethical, you could make the case that this was a clear playing of the system, that this was, like a corrupt violation of some sort. I mean, it would take time to get to the nitty gritty legalities of it, but they should lose their tax exemption,
right?
For at least a year.
And one more effect of this too, Ron. Since they sold it to a nonprofit, they no longer can be taxed at all. In fact, Mayor Rick Skinner says losing all of Ark Encounter's property taxes would hurt the city, county, and most of all, get this, public schools. He said it would be a huge hit to the public schools. So that's another way they're screwing over this, not only the state of Kentucky, but the town of Williamston. But you think that they care about this? No, this is a win-win. Not only do we not have to pay taxes.
Of course they don't care about it. They teach science in public schools.
Exactly.
Yeah, they teach science there. They're not fans.
Absolutely. So again, this is a win-win-win for the creationists and Ken Ham, and it's a loss for schools, and it's a loss for the town, and it's a loss for the city that invested so much money into this, and it's a loss to all these local businesses. These business owners are like, we thought we were going to get all these visitors to the park that's going to go and frequent our businesses and help our bottom lines and help us grow. Well, none of that turned out, and now they're stealing from us. And now, also, I didn't mention this, but the park is ready to sue over this 50-cent tax on ticket sales. So,
Of course they are.
Talk about grifters, man. This is the ultimate grift. And, of course, who's better at grift than these supposed Christians?